I'm going to give you all the best tips on how to live a positive life on a low income while in crisis mode, because not everything is as it seems. A lot of people think that just because you're on a low income and you're on the struggle bus means that you live a very unhappy life. That's not necessarily true. Just because I'm living one crisis to another doesn't necessarily mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that I have to approach things a little differently than I would if I wasn't in a crisis, right? So I'm going to give you guys some of the top tips, but I wanted to let you guys know I currently am in crisis mode. If you haven't watched my channel and you're new to this channel, I had to call a plumber 2 days ago, had him come over, fix a broken sink pipe situation, which cost me money I just really didn't have. I also was in a car accident 2 weeks ago, and now my car is totaled, and I've been using my car as my regular income doing gig work. So I am definitely on the struggle bus. So I figured now would be a better time than ever to talk about being in crisis mode. Things that work for me that maybe you can use in a situation where you're down and out and you're feeling like crap. Nothing in this world is perfect. I made some notes on my computer, so if I peer down, it's just on my notes, because otherwise I'll ramble. So I recently started working a job. I don't love the job, but I don't love any of my low income jobs. We'll be real. If you've never worked at McDonald's, if you've never worked retail, if you've never worked at a convenience store, 7-Eleven, or some sort of gas station convenience store, if you have never worked a place like Rite Aid or Walgreens or CVS, these are all low income jobs. They are not always the most glamorous job. And unfortunately, we work with all sorts of people, and it doesn't necessarily matter if I love the job or not. I have to go. I don't have a choice. Right now, I don't have a car. I can't go do gig work. I can't drive DoorDash, Uber, Lyft, Spark. I can't do those things if I don't have a car, right? So another thing that I wanted to make clear is my family doesn't necessarily live their life, how should I say it? They don't live their life feeling less than because we're on a low income. My children don't know I'm on a low income. They don't know any different. My ex is on a low income. So my children don't see anything different from one household to another. My friends don't care about my money. My less than handful of friends don't care what I do for a living. They don't care how much money I make. They're on a low income as well, and they're working retail jobs or food jobs as well. It's just not a thing we talk about. My work doesn't know anything about my personal life. They recently found out that I was in a car accident because I don't have a car, and in order for me to properly do my job, I have to have a vehicle, because I'm training for an assistant management position, and you need to have a car to be able to do that in case you have to go to another store. So doesn't necessarily mean that I'm walking around, hi, I'm on a low income. No, it's not. So I'm going to go over my list of tips and tricks, and it's really important that you stick through all of them to number 10. So you can't control everything. As much as we want to control every situation, you're doing your budget, you're doing your due diligence with your sinking funds, you are working really hard to build that emergency fund, and everything seems to be going smooth. And then something happens, and then something happens again, and then the road goes smooth for a little bit longer, and then another situation happens again. We cannot control everything. You don't get to choose when emergencies happen. You don't get to choose when you leave the door of your house, you go into your car, you drive to work. You don't get to choose if somebody's going to rear end your vehicle. You don't get to choose. You don't get to choose when you get sick and you have to take time off work. How many people during the pandemic got sick and had to lose wages because they were sick? How many people have had a baby who have had to take time off of work? How many people have had an unexpected surgery and had to take time off work? You can't control everything. I know somebody who personally went through a situation where they literally broke their ankle. And they thought, oh, I just broke my ankle, no problem. Didn't have health insurance, had to go to surgery. Yeah, broke their ankle riding a mountain bike out on a trail, broke their ankle. At first he's like, I don't really feel it. I'm not feeling it. It's not that big of a deal. That bill came up and he was like, holy cow, this is not what I expected today. Acknowledging your feelings when you're in a situation and it was unexpected is okay. It is totally okay to freak out, to get mad. It's okay to get sad. It's okay to lose it a little bit. It's okay to roll down your window, scream out the window every swear word possible, maybe even in a different language, or 10. And it's okay for you to go through normal situations where you're feeling up and down. I know there are times where I'm like, I'm really mad that our car got totaled and I can't go out and make some extra money. I'm really mad that I had to call the plumber because that took away from money that I had been putting away for myself so I could get a car. These are things that make me angry. It always makes me angry when I can't control the situation. Am I going to take it out on somebody else? Absolutely not. Have there been times where I have literally laid on my couch and bawled my eyes out? Absolutely. It's a normal thing to do. It's okay to have feelings. It is what it is, especially when you're in a crisis. Quit panicking. Number 2, quit panicking. Panicking about something is not going to help. You can have depression, you can have anxiety, you can have full-fledged panic attacks during many crisis situations, and I've definitely been there. I myself suffer from anxiety, so I definitely understand where you're coming from. But sitting here and panicking about it every single day is not going to be productive. So in that, you need to, instead of panic, sit down and make a plan. Maybe it's not a budget. Maybe it's a simple plan of this is what I need to do to make it to the next step in my crisis. Sometimes it's sitting down with your budget and saying, oh my gosh, I can't pay my rent. And I had to take 3 weeks off of work because I was sick or I had surgery. Or maybe you were in a situation where you were in a car accident, you lost your vehicle. It was your only vehicle and you could not get to work. And so you had to rent a car and that took away from some of your bill money. Sometimes it's sitting down and rearranging things in your life to make it work. Number three is take it by day basis. You are not going to fulfill your absolute need within literally days of a crisis. Not necessarily. I have never once said, oh, I magically have my rent money. Oh, I magically have a new car. It just appeared. It happened. It's not going to happen like that. And if you see anybody here on this platform, on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, that tell you otherwise, are you sure? Are you really sure that that was true? Because I question it 100% of the time. Things are not going to come easy. And sometimes taking it day by day means that you're going to have to change how you do your day by day. I am not driving myself to work. Not driving myself to work. I'm getting to work, but does that mean that it's my everyday usual? I usually get up in the morning, I eat breakfast, drink coffee, do my normal morning routine, and then I get out the door and I go and do DoorDash. That's how I start my day. I've been starting my day that way every day, probably for the last 3 years at least. So for me, my whole routine has changed. I'm literally trying to make it day by day at my new job and trying to learn something new while in a crisis, and it's been hard for me. Number 4, can't forget number 4. Come on, scroll. My computer is a little slow. Never give anybody your last $20. I've talked about this in so many different videos, but I think that it doesn't really click until you're in a crisis. You're in a crisis and you're like, you know what? Remember when I went out to eat with my friend like 3 days ago, and I wasn't seeing the fact that I got rear-ended in a Target parking lot, and I'm really kind of hard up for a car right now. My car is in the shop, and I didn't have proper things on my insurance. Most people think that if you have full coverage insurance, that just means that you automatically get a car rental and all the things. Well, maybe this person got rear-ended by somebody who was uninsured. They had to pay their deductible and all the things. But this person is having remorse over the money they spent days before. Maybe it's something that happened during a holiday, like Christmas, and you went out and blew all of your extra money on Christmas gifts and somebody rear-ended your car. It's something you never expected, but it's also something you didn't have forethought on. And this is why it's really super important to have sinking funds just in case something happens, like an emergency fund. So don't ever give anybody your last $20. Even if you are taking $5, $10, $15, $20, maybe you can only throw a couple dollars into your account or into an envelope every single time you get paid, and that's how you start accumulating an emergency fund, because something is better than nothing, especially if you have to fork out money for something like a car rental. Maybe you had a major expense that happened, you didn't have the money really to go to the dentist. This is when I hear and I see a lot, especially in every low-income job I've ever worked. Yeah, my tooth had an abscess and I had to go to the dentist, and it cost me $1,500. And really, I mean, now I'm at the point where I'm just gonna go get my tooth pulled. Why? Because I didn't have any money. I don't have any money. I just have to get it pulled, and I need to take care of it right now. But even if I go get it pulled, it's gonna cost me $300 because I haven't gone to the dentist in so long that I now have to have x-rays and all these things to be seen. If you work in dental, you know what I'm talking about. We already did number 4, so we're on number 5. Number 5, know your limits. Knowing your limitations is so important. I mean, this is absolutely freaking important, because if you don't know what your limitations are, you're going to be in a situation. It's going to be a situation, and it's going to come on fast. Knowing your limits on what you can take on financially and what you can take on mentally. We'll start with the mental. So sometimes we want to deal with a crisis by having somebody come in and help us. I call it a rescue boat. Somebody comes in with a rescue boat, they throw you a line, and you're going toward this boat. You now owe this person because you asked for the lifeboat, and now you've asked for a favor, and now you owe somebody a favor because you wanted help, because you thought it was instant. This can come in the form of family, friends, coworkers, all the things. I try my best not to borrow from anybody. It just makes it so much easier. And it's worse when you owe people like family, because you have to deal with them. They're your family. They don't just go away. You can lose friends, you can lose coworkers, but you're not going to lose your family. So knowing your limitations on what you can mentally handle. Can you help this person down the road? If you can't, maybe it's not worth it. Also, knowing your financial limitations. I'm not going to go get a car loan. No, why would I? Because if I told you that my average wage in the town I live in is $13.70, and the average wage that I'm working is well under $20 an hour, I cannot afford a car loan. I can't afford a car loan. And people don't just give car loans away. And interest rates are high. So I have to look at my financial situation and say, yeah, that car loan's not working for me. I recently watched a young lady here on YouTube. I'm not going to mention who she is because she's kind of in a crisis. I would say very much so in a crisis. And she just recently bought a 2012 vehicle. I don't even remember what the car is, to be honest with you, but it was a 2012. She got a $13,000 car on a payment, and she really just couldn't see that she couldn't afford it. She's like, well, you know, I'm working like a part-time job and another kind of part-time job, and my car broke down and I needed a car immediately. And now she's having a hard time paying the payment. And she's like, how do I get out of this car loan now? Your car is kind of old and you're driving around with a $13,000 car payment. Is it worth it? One of the biggest reasons that she wants to get rid of the car is because she's realizing it's going to have some mechanical problems. So that is something to think of. If you're going to buy a used car, you can get it checked out 1,000,000 times over, but remember, it's part of that it's not in your control thing when it breaks down, because then you still have a payment and you have to buy parts. Is it worth it? I don't know. It's important to sit down and make a realistic expectation with yourself and others. So if you have somebody else living with you, and maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's a roommate, maybe it's your adult children, you need to make a plan with them that's realistic, and you know your limits. Like, we can't afford 50 million subscriptions. We cannot afford this 5 phone plan for $350, $400 a month. I see it a lot in budgeting communities. So, know your limitation. Number 6. This one is super important too. Don't get advice from people who have never been in your situation. Ever. I get so many comments on this channel that sometimes they make sense and I will look into them. Do they always work out for me? No. And then there are times where it's just completely out in left field. And I'm just like, do you realize what you just put in the comments? I have had terrible luck with getting advice from family members and friends who have never been in my situation. My family has one family member who loves to give advice, loves it. They're the advice giver that you didn't even ask for. They're just like, let me butt in. I'm gonna tell you what my fix-all to this solution is. And unfortunately, even though this person's intentions are great, it has put someone in a situation, or someone's in a situation. So please don't take advice from anybody who has never been in your situation or has no idea about what kind of income or what kind of limitations you have, right? We are on number 7 because we're getting closer to number 10. Number 10's important. It's time to make more money. If you are on a low income like myself, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a hustler. I'm going to hustle my butt no matter what I do. I'm going to work extra hours at my job where I'm still in training, but I've been taking a little bit of extra hours here and there, or 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. It all adds up. It all adds up. You are not special in the fact that you don't have the choice at times to take on some overtime. Maybe you need a side hustle. Maybe you need to get a second job after your first job a few days a week. Maybe you don't work weekends. Go find a pizza delivery job where you're delivering pizzas. Honestly, I've worked at multiple pizza places. Pizza delivery, good money. Good money. It can be good money. However, if you are looking for a side hustle, don't go looking for things like pyramid schemes where you have to buy a certain amount of product, sell a certain amount of product, and you have a team and all the things. Some of these things can be like, gosh, what was that big one? LuLaRoe clothing. Their leggings were so soft and everybody wanted them. And there was this big documentary on it. I know a lot of people who do cosmetic stuff, like makeup. Mary Kay is one. That's a pyramid scheme. Another one is Scentsy. Scentsy is a for sure pyramid scheme where you're selling warmers and wax, and it's scented wax. That is a pyramid scheme. Stay away from it. Because if you're already on a low income, it's not really going to help you to go buy something to try to sell that is not necessarily a need. People don't need it. They don't need it. They can go to the store, and they can go to Walgreens to get cheap makeup. Making more money, maybe picking times that work for you, and you decide to go do DoorDash. You decide to go do Uber. You decide maybe you want to go try some Spark. You have a driver's license, you have a clean driving history, and you're willing to take a few hours out of your day. If you made $250 a week doing something extra, and you made it to the end of the month, you'd have an extra $1,000. I myself push myself to the limit. I am always working. This is the only time in my adult life in the last 10 years where I'm like, I don't know what TV show to watch. If you have suggestions for TV shows on Netflix, let me know. So go find yourself extra money somehow. There's lots of opportunities out there. They might not always work for you. Maybe you are on a fixed income and you can't. Maybe you're on a social security. Maybe you're on disability and you can't do it. That's okay too. Time to rethink your plan. Okay? Telling your friends and family you cannot help them. This is number 8. And this is going to be a quick and easy one. If you cannot help somebody, you can't do it. I don't care if you drew names with your siblings, your family members. I don't care if you do white elephant Santa gifting at work and you pull somebody's name and then you have to include a $25 gift in the gift exchange and you can't do it. Sorry, you can't. You cannot. I recently had to back out of a Christmas exchange because I don't have any money to spend on a Christmas gift for my husband, let alone a coworker. And it's not because I don't want to. It's not because I don't want to. It's because right now I'm in crisis mode. I don't have a car and it just had plumbing problems. I don't have money to go spend on extra things. So knowing your limitations and telling these people no is a very, very reasonable thing to say and reasonable thing to do when you're in a crisis. No, I cannot. No, I cannot come help you watch Susie in the evening time because I don't have a car and I have to pick up extra shifts at my job. It's okay to be like, hey, I'm on food stamps and I really can't go to your potluck because right now I'm just struggling to buy my own groceries. And maybe you don't have to tell them in any detail and just say, no, I really can't. I'm sorry this time. Really easy. I hear that one a lot. I actually get messages from some of you guys, and some of you guys tell me things like, well, you know, I help pay for my son's whatever bill, or I paid for my 39-year-old daughter to, you know, do such and such activity with her kids, and it really kind of took a toll. The answer is no, you can't. And it's okay to put up those boundaries. Boundaries are important. Number 9, this is going to be super duper. I mean, this is going to be one in the comments people are going to hate. But trust me, I have my reasons. Don't go to school just because you think it's a ticket to a better life. Did you know that anywhere between 29 and 30% of people start college? They start getting their associate's degree. They're going for the general studies, and in that first year, they are done. They're done within the first couple of weeks. Did you know that 32 to 34% of people graduate college with a legit college degree, and even less of a percentage of them actually get a job in their field? Because college does not necessarily mean that you are going to be guaranteed a job anymore. Yes, you get a good education, and maybe that's what you're going for, but at the same time, everybody wants money, right? Everybody has their hand in your wallet for one reason or another. So going to college doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to get a ticket to a better life. I recently just went through tons of talking to a community college in my area for my husband to start a trade so he can go be a plumber. I had talked to people in the admin office. I talked to people that help with FAFSA, which is financial aid. I talked to loan advisors, all sorts of people in the last probably month, to the point where I realized that it's okay for you to go get a trade. Trades are okay. The hope is that if you get a trade, that maybe it's something that you can do within a shorter amount of time. Because if you're going to go to college, do you realistically, if you're in a crisis, do you have time to go to school while dealing with all the crisis stuff that you're dealing with? Maybe it's having to deal with financial. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something that you cannot focus on right now, because college doesn't fix everything. It doesn't fix everything. I'm not against college. I have thought about going back to college myself, but I would want to make sure that it's something that I want to do 100%, not just I think I can do this, or I think I want to do this. I want to be fully in it to win it. And not only that, but I want to find something that I enjoy. So, and if I can enjoy it and make money off of it, might as well. Number 10, and I'm going to tell you this is important. It's so important that you need to hear it, because you can only do what you can with what you got, because it's all you have to work with. I say this in every single video, you guys, where I can't tell you enough times, it's all you have to work with. If you only have this much to work with, don't be biting off this much. If you only have this much to work with, why would you go get a car loan? Why would you sit there and put yourself under all of this pressure for no reason? For no reason. Why? Because somebody told you to? No. You can only do what you can with what you got in every situation you're in, and sometimes that's the best thing you can do. You get to learn about yourself a lot of times when you're in crisis mode. Crisis mode equals finding yourself mode. Finding more about yourself than you ever wanted to know. So if you do the best you can with what you got, because it's all you have to work with, that's okay. I will see you guys in the next video. And you know what? If you're in crisis mode, that's okay. If you made it through this video, leave me a hashtag and then crisis. Okay? All together. Hashtag crisis. Bye, guys. Oh, hey, it's okay. I don't want to be in crisis mode for the rest of my life either. I get it.